Good morning, Your Honor.
With counsel. Anything the record for the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything for the record for the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
Counsel. I have received a note from the jury which I have marked as juror exhibit number 6 and will place within the file. It reads, this is the note. What is the PX or commissary? What does that abbreviation mean? Where's our witness?
We're holding her outside.
Do with juror notes. We have two cases. State versus Howard, 320 NC 718, and State versus Jones, 158 NC App 465. Thank you, ma'am. You can be seated. You may invite the jury in. We thank you for coming back and being with us today. Ms. Lopez remains bound by oath to tell the truth that she took yesterday and is with the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lopez, when we left yesterday, I think we had gotten to a point where we were in June of 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you were living at home then, right?
Yes.
And was that because you were there on summer break from school, or had you left school at that point?
I was on summer break.
Now, we had talked yesterday about a little bit about the your mom and Jose's marriage, and you said that they argued sometimes, correct? Mm-hmm. But those arguments were they weren't physical in any way.
No.
And they didn't argue from the beginning of their marriage, did they?
No.
It was right around the beginning of 2013 when you started to notice that. Is that correct?
I'm not really sure around that time.
The arguments that you were aware of, were they about finances?
Mostly.
And did you know a whole lot about the family? finances?
No.
They didn't involve you in those decisions or what was going on, did they?
No, not really.
During the period of time that you were living in the home when Jose was there, were you aware that he had some health issues?
Yes.
And what health issues were you aware of?
I know I was aware of him having Agent Orange from Vietnam, and I know that kind of caused some like respiratory issues for him. I believe he was diagnosed with COPD at one point. I believe he had diabetes. I think that's all I'm aware of.
Were you aware of any kind of surgeries that he'd had?
Yeah.
What kind of surgeries were you aware of?
I remember he had surgery, excuse me, he had surgery on his elbow at one point.
And had he, as far as you were aware, had any problems with his heart as well?
I believe so.
What kind of problems did he have with his heart?
I'm not really sure.
Had he been in the hospital that you were aware for his heart?
I'm not sure if it was for his heart.
You've had some, you personally have had some mental health issues, is that right?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
All right.
And because of those issues, you've had several hospitalizations, is that correct?
Yes.
And have those, most recently, have those problems resolved themselves?
Yeah.
You've not had to be in the hospital for the last year or so?
No.
Your younger sister is Isabel, correct?
Yes.
How old is she now?
She's 10.
And she's had some behavioral problems as well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And because of those behavioral problems, she's had to have been hospitalized several times, hasn't she?
Yes.
And what kinds of behaviors have caused the concerns with Isabel?
She used to sometimes just kind of act out in school and used to not want to participate.
When you say act out, what are you talking about?
Just throw a tantrum.
And when she threw a tantrum, she would be physically abusive to herself
Sometimes.
and sometimes physically abusive to others as well.
Yes, sometimes.
Do you know whether your sister Michelle has ever had to have any hospitalizations for mental health issues?
No.
Or your mother?
No.
Now, how many vehicles were there in your family?
4.
So you had one?
Yes.
Your mom had one?
Mm-hmm.
Jose and Michelle?
Yeah.
And which vehicle did Jose usually drive?
The Jeep.
What color was it?
Green.
And did he ever let you drive it?
Yeah.
Did he do that often?
Well, I wouldn't like to drive it
Why didn't you let you drive it?
because I don't like big trucks, big cars.
Was your car a very small car?
Well, I had a Saturn Vue, but it wasn't as big as the Jeep.
And I want to talk about Saturday, June 15th, 2013. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
Is that the day that your mother went down to South Carolina to see your cousin and your aunt and uncle?
Yes.
Had you had some kind of an accident the night before with your car?
Yeah, I had hit a deer.
And were you hurt in any way?
No.
But it messed up your car.
Yeah.
Did you talk with Jose at all about how to deal with the insurance company or what to do about the accident that you'd had?
Yeah.
And was he helpful to you?
Yes.
In the morning of Saturday, June 15th of 2013, do you recall what you did?
Yes.
Tell us what you did.
I went to the scene where I hit the deer the night before. Spoke with the officer, and then I went to Nightdale to Nationwide, the insurance that I had at the time, to speak with them. Then I went back home.
And what did you do after that?
I went back home.
After you went back home, did you go back out again?
I don't think so. I think I was home most of the day.
And at some point, you were aware that your mother had already left in the morning to go to South Carolina, is that correct?
Yeah.
At some point that evening, were you aware that she returned to the house?
Yes.
And do you know about what time that was?
Around 7.
And when she returned to the house, was Jose also in the home?
Yes.
Was your grandfather in the home?
Yes.
Other than you, your grandfather, and Jose, was anybody else there?
No.
And how did you know that your mother had come home? Did you see her walk in the house when she first came in?
No, I heard her.
And what is it that you heard that made you realize that she was home?
I guess just the way I could hear her footsteps, the way she was walking. Or
Okay. Do you have an automatic garage door at the house?
Yeah.
Did you hear the garage door go up?
Mm-hmm.
And can you hear the door in between the garage that goes into the house when it opens and closes?
Probably when it closes, I could hear it.
When you heard your mother return, could you hear whether your mom and Jose were talking?
Yeah.
Did it sound like just sort of normal talk?
Yeah.
Now, you couldn't understand anything they were saying, is that correct?
No.
You just heard their voices?
Mm-hmm.
You were upstairs?
Yeah.
And they were downstairs?
Yeah.
Now, how long was your mother home before you became aware that she and Jose had left?
Maybe 10 minutes or so.
And how did you realize, what is it that you heard or saw that made you realize that your mother and Jose had left together?
I heard them talking as they were walking out the door, and I heard the car start up. And
Okay. And at some point, did your mother return home?
yes,
And do you know about what time it was when your mother returned home?
it's around 9.
And how did you become aware that your mother had returned home that evening, later that evening?
I was in the kitchen as she walked in.
So you had come downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing at around 9 o'clock in the kitchen?
Trying to find something to eat.
And when your mother walked in, was she on the telephone? Talking to
Yes.
somebody?
Yes.
Did Jose come in with her?
No.
And describe how your mother looked.
She was on the phone. She was kind of sweaty. She had a cut on her arm. And I asked her what was wrong. I could just tell she was upset.
She didn't want to talk to you at that point, did she? She kept saying shoosh.
She just was saying, it's okay, it's okay. I asked her what happened to her arm. She said that she confronted Jose about leaving and he cut her. And
You asked her to call the police, didn't you?
not at that moment.
When she first told you that, what did you do?
I screamed, "He cut you." She told me to shush because my grandfather was in the next room, and she didn't want to upset him. And after that, I went upstairs and I called my mentor at the time, and she prayed with me.
Later on, you went downstairs, correct?
Yes.
And you told your mother she should call the police, correct?
I was telling her, we should call the police in case Jose came back.
Call the police, did she?
She may completely answer. Please give her a chance.
I'm sorry.
Your mother didn't want to call the police, did she?
No.
You didn't call the police for her, did you?
No.
Now, you went back upstairs, didn't you?
Yeah.
And at some point later that night, you went to sleep.
Yeah.
What did you do the next day? That is Sunday.
Sunday I woke up, normal Sunday I went to church, and I was there all day.
And So what you said all day, what time did you get back home?
Around 5 or 6.
And had you done a variety of church functions that day in different places?
Yeah.
And was there anything in particular that caused you to go home at the time that you did?
No.
Did you have information at the time that you were, at some point while you were on your way home, that there were detectives at your house?
Yes.
And when you got there, were the detectives already there?
Yes.
And when you got there, did you talk to a detective?
Yes.
Did you, were you told at that time that Jose had died
Yes.
by the officers?
Yes.
And did they ask you to go downtown and talk with them and tell them what you knew at that time?
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Did they also ask you to handwrite out a statement about what had happened over the last day or so before you were told that Jose had died?
I don't remember.
Sorry?
I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that your recollection of things in June of 2013 might be a little bit better than it is now?
Yeah.
And so if an officer has a statement that you wrote out and signed and dated, would that be true?
Right.
And you understand that you were taped when you talked to the officer at the sheriff's department?
Yes.
And so what you said on the tape when you talked to the officer, was that the truth as you knew it at that time?
Yes.
And the statement that you wrote for the officer, that was the truth as you knew it at that time?
Yes.
Since June of 2013, you've talked with your mom's lawyers several times, haven't you?
Yes.
And you don't want your mother to go to prison, do you?
No.
I have no other questions.
Witness with the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Lopez.
Good morning.
You testified that Jose did have several medical issues you were aware of, correct?
Yes.
But before you went to college, you were in the home a lot.
Yeah.
Before 2000, I think you said about 2010, you went to Shaw.
Yeah.
And then you'd come back on your summer breaks.
Mm-hmm.
You'd visit during the school year.
Yeah.
So you were able to observe Jose in the household, correct?
Yes.
Did you observe him do any kind of household type work?
Yeah.
What kind of things would you see him doing in the house?
We do like laundry, yard work, cook, clean.
Was he able to do that with ease? Did he have any problems doing those kind of things?
I don't think so, for the most part.
Did you know him to go to the gym?
Yeah.
Did he have a gym membership?
Yeah.
He took your grandfather to appointments?
Yes.
He also had his own appointments that he made it to,
Right.
usually on his own?
Yeah.
I believe you testified he volunteered at the VA quite regularly.
Yes.
He was able to make it to the VA on his own, as far as
Yeah.
you're aware?
Mhm.
Did he interact with your younger sister Isabel at all?
Yes.
What were their interactions like?
They would play sometimes.
How would they play?
Like just play. I don't know. I mean,
Would he run
she's-
around and chase her? Or
Yeah,
what kind
sometimes like just different stuff. He would color with her, make food. I don't know. They would just
He'd also take her places she needed to go as well?
Yeah.
Drop her off, pick her up? Did he ever walk? I think you said you had 7 or 8 pets. Did he ever walk the dogs?
Yeah.
Jose had a lot of medical issues, as you testified to. Were you ever worried that something could happen to him because his health was so bad?
Yeah.
And were you aware in 2013 he'd had a couple episodes where he had fallen or had to go to the emergency room, things of that nature?
I believe so.
In 2011, did you and your family take a family vacation to Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Tell us about that trip a little bit.
I think we were there maybe a little less than a week, and that's where Jose is from, so he kind of showed us around. We met his family and friends.
Would you
Yeah.
say that was a good trip?
Yeah.
Shortly after you got back from that trip, there were some discussions about Jose moving the family back to New York, where
Yeah.
your family's originally from.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about those plans that were started to be made to move back to New York?
I think I just remember my mom just kind of bringing it up, it's a possibility we might go back. And we just started kind of looking for houses and just, getting excited for it.
And did that plan ever come to fruition?
No.
Why not?
Well, my mom then also told us that,
Objection.
Stay.
Do you know personally why that trip didn't happen? The move to New York?
because the money that Jose
How about she can tell if she knows?
the money that Jose claimed to have for us to move back to New York was not real.
You were aware that Jose was a recovering alcoholic, correct?
Yes.
As well as your mother.
Yes.
Did you ever see any signs of relapse?
No.
But as you said, at the time, you had been enrolled in Shaw for a good amount of the last 2 years previous to this incident taking place, correct?
Yes.
So you weren't always privy or aware of things going on in the home at that time.
Right.
Do you recall your mother telling you that she believed that he'd had a
Objection.
relapse?
Repeat your question.
Do you recall being told that he had had a relapse?
Yes.
And you are aware, because of Jose's health issues, that he took a lot of medication, correct?
Yes.
Were you aware that he was taking pain medications to help manage the pain he might have been in?
Yes.
And you testified a little bit on direct about Jose, but tell us a little bit more about what you observed in Jose. What kind of person he was.
He was a good person. I think he had some issues with lying. I think he may have, wanted a certain lifestyle for us, but just wasn't able to provide it for us. But he was a good guy, and he yeah.
And he helped you out a lot. When you turned 16, he was able to help you get the Saturn that you drove, correct?
No, it was a different car, but yeah, he got me a car.
He got you a car when you turned 16. Did he help you with the payments on that vehicle?
Yeah.
Who paid for the car insurance on that vehicle?
He did.
Did he help you with any kind of maintenance on that vehicle, if anything ever needed to be done?
Yeah.
What kind of things would he do for you?
Change the oil. He would wash the cars all the time.
Tell us about your mom, Rachel.
She has a really big heart. She's really caring. She loves people. And she would do anything for her family.
Is it safe to say she was kind of the matriarch of the family, held everybody together?
Yeah.
And you said she helped people, she cared about others. Did she often let people come into the home that needed help?
Yeah.
I think you mentioned yesterday afternoon that your friend had stayed at the house for a while.
Yeah.
Were you ever aware of anyone else staying at the house while you were there?
Yeah.
Who else would stay at the house?
Michelle's friend stayed at one point.
Did Jose's son stay with you at some point when he became ill?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Um, I don't remember exactly when it was, but he had moved in with us, 'cause he also had health issues. Um, and, we had an extra bedroom that he stayed in.
How long did he stay with you? Do you recall?
I'm not sure.
And he ultimately passed away,
Yeah.
correct? As a relation to health problems.
Yeah.
What kind of work did your mom do?
She was a teacher, and she volunteered at the ASPCA.
And I think you testified yesterday, tell me if I'm wrong, but around March 2013, she left her teaching position.
I believe so.
Were you aware why she left her teaching position?
No, I don't remember.
Could have it been to help Isabel a little bit more? Because around that time you said she was starting to act up.
Yeah.
What other kind of things did your mom do
Um,
other than volunteer with the SPCA?
she'd make jewelry, go to the gym, shopping, cook, go out, with friends, go to meetings.
How was your relationship with your mother?
It's good.
Were you close?
Yeah.
Were you aware of your mom taking any medications for anxiety?
Yeah.
Were you aware that she was taking Prozac?
Yeah.
And were you aware of the reasons she was on that medication?
Just as far as anxiety.
You knew that she had suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder.
Objection.
Stay.
Move to strike.
Motion allowed, come on.
You had direct knowledge and knew that your mother had been raped in her past.
Objection.
Judge, if she has direct knowledge of it.
Okay, if you've got a good faith basis that she does, let me know.
I do. Ms. Lopez, when you were attending Shaw University, at one point you wrote an article about your family assessment for probably a social work class or a class you were taking at Shaw, correct?
Yeah.
And that would have been around February 2013 you were taking that class?
Yeah, I believe so.
And you wrote an article about your family, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And in that article, you detailed that your mother had been previously raped 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So you were aware that she had been raped.
Objection to this entire line of questioning.
What rule? It goes for a little while.
Yes.
And you were aware that she was on medication to deal with anxiety.
Yes.
You were also aware that your mother suffered from fibromyalgia.
Yes.
What kind of difficulties, if any, did that cause her?
It was just caused her a lot of pain in her joints.
Did that affect her energy level or anything of that nature?
Yeah.
When your mom married Jose, did that change your lifestyle in any kind of way?
I don't think so. No.
You pretty much continued to live as you'd been living before Jose came into the household?
Yeah.
Do you believe your mom loved Jose?
Yes.
What brings you to that conclusion?
I mean, she took care of him, from the beginning. And even from, because she knew, after, the whole New York thing, that really did upset me, and I just kind of, I
About you
didn't,
not being able to move to New York?
yeah, and that kind of made me lose respect for Jose, but I know, you know, my mother, she loved him, and she wanted to, you know, she was happy with him.
Do you ever witness them be affectionate with each other?
Yeah.
What kind of things would you observe?
You know, they would hug, they would go on dates, kiss, and just be.
And you've referenced you've seen them get into verbal arguments. Never anything physical.
No, never.
And usually you said they argued over money, if they argued at all. Would you say typically they argued about little things, things that most married couples argue about?
Yeah.
Do you ever witness Jose become violent in the home?
No.
Do you ever witness your mother be violent in the home?
No.
And you mentioned yesterday that Jose and your mom would have rules about things like curfew, typical things that a teenager would have implemented as a household rule, correct?
Right.
And if you were unable or didn't follow the curfew, it wasn't just Jose that got upset with you, was it? It was also your mother.
Right.
You ever known your mother to own a weapon?
No.
Any kind of gun?
No.
Knife?
No.
How about Jose? Did you ever know him to own a gun?
No.
A knife?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I just remember he had a pocket knife he used to have all the time.
Did he carry it on him on his keychain or in his pocket? Do you know?
I think just in his pocket. And he used to have it in his car.
Would that be the Jeep? Overall, would you say that when you were living in the home, it was a loving, nurturing, caring environment?
Yeah.
Ms. Lopez, turning your attention kind of to the June 15th date, 2013, did you get a call from your mother that morning
Yes.
that she was going down to South Carolina?
Right.
And during that call, did she tell you that...
Objection?
Saying what she said.
Were you aware of why your mother was going down to South Carolina?
She was going to visit my my nephew. No, my
Would
cousin.
that be William Lopez?
Yeah, my cousin. Sorry.
Tell us about William.
He was a cool kid. He was into swords and stuff. He had a really just like big personality.
You'd been down to visit him, right?
Yeah.
How often had you been down to visit him?
I think I saw him twice before he passed.
And on that visit, would have your mom and Michelle been with you on one of those occasions?
I believe on the first occasion we were all there, and then the second occasion it was just me and Michelle.
Were you aware that his health had significantly deteriorated by that time in 2013?
Yes.
Were you aware that the prognosis wasn't good for him?
Yes.
Was that a concern for everyone in the family?
Yeah.
Because although there was a period of time where you had fell out of touch, in the recent years you'd come very close to the family in South Carolina.
Yes.
And you testified that your mom got home, I believe, at around 7 p.m. or so that
Yes.
evening. And you said that she came in for a short amount of time,
Right.
that you were upstairs. You didn't see her, did you?
No.
And that you heard her speaking with Jose.
Yes.
Were they talking in a normal tone?
Yes.
They weren't arguing or anything of that nature?
No.
And then you said she returned to the home. Was it around 9? I think
Yes.
you said about 9. And she appeared upset, and she was
Yes.
sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
Did you describe the wound you said you saw on her left arm?
It looked like a cut, it was vertical, maybe like 4 inches or so.
Do you recall whether or not it was bleeding?
I don't remember.
And you said when you found out what had happened, you responded, Jose cut you?
Mm-hmm.
That was your response? Did you believe that that had happened?
Yeah.
Do you believe Jose to be capable?
Objection as to what she believes.
Sustained.
You saw the cut on your mom's arm, correct?
Yes.
In fact, it was so upsetting to you that you called some church friends and you discussed the matter with them.
Yes.
You were worried about your mom?
Yes.
Were you mad at Jose?
Yes.
Were you worried that Jose might come back to the household?
Yes.
How'd that make you feel?
I was scared for my family.
The next morning on the 16th, do you recall your mom going to church that next morning?
Yes.
That wouldn't have been that unusual for her, would have it?
No.
She was fairly religious.
Yeah.
She did church activities.
Mm-hmm.
And you testified later that evening that you became aware of Jose's passing.
Yes.
Later on that evening of the 16th. What did you think had happened to Jose when you learned of his passing?
Objection.
Sustained.
I can answer. Oh.
Were,
You don't answer that.
Okay.
did you worry that Jose might have hurt himself?
Objection.
Sustained.
You weren't aware of how Jose had passed, is that correct?
Correct.
Prior to your mother's marriage to Jose, she had been married 3 times, correct? Once to John Lopez,
Mm-hmm.
Once to Chuck Pritchard or Charles Pritchard, and then to Jose, correct?
Right.
So she'd been married 3 times
Mm-hmm.
that you were aware of.
Yes.
And she'd been divorced 2 times,
Yes.
once to John Lopez and once to Chuck Pritchard.
Right.
And as far as you were aware, were those separations amicable?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were aware she'd been separated twice?
Objection.
It's what she knows, Judge.
I don't
If
see
she-
it's relevant. Come on.
Did it bother your mother to be single?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you feel that your family would be supported
Objection.
if your mother left Jose?
Excuse me. Objection.
Sustained.
Judge, I think it's relevant as to the financial situation in the family at the time.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'll excuse you to the jury room for just a few moments. While you're there, don't discuss this case among yourselves, neither should you former. Record reflect jurors absent courtroom. Ask her your question.
Ms. Lopez, do you have any concerns about the family being able to support themselves if Jose wasn't around?
No.
You felt that your mother could provide for the family without Jose being around?
Yeah.
And you've seen direct knowledge of this because you've been separated in the past, correct?
Right.
And the family was self-sufficient
Right.
when she wasn't married.
Right.
Correct? Nothing.
You want to be heard?
Yes, I would like to be heard. Judge, I think it is entirely relevant about the finances. I mean, if Ms. Shandles brought up Jose's income to the family, they're relying on his income to get certain items, and if finances in any way are some kind of motive in this, it's clearly relevant whether or not the family can support themselves and be self-sustaining without that income. Ms. Lopez has direct knowledge about the family's finances to some degree and their ability to get by, regardless of whether Ms. Madonna was in a relationship or not.
That's his take.
Your Honor, that it's not relevant, that she doesn't have any direct personal knowledge. She's already testified she didn't really know anything about the family finances, and the separation, at least one of the separations that the defense has asked her to testify about, and whether divorces were amicable or not, as well as the finances, are things that happened before she was even born.
Think further?
I believe she was born, Judge. I mean, she was in the household when Mr. Lopez was her father, her adoptive father, and she was clearly of the age to kind of know what was going on in the relationship when her mother was married to Charles Pritchard. She was a teenager going into her teenage youth.
Object to sustain. You raise your hand. Okay. If you'll speak a little bit louder
Okay.
so that everybody can hear, not only the 12
Sorry.
jurors, but everyone over here. You're doing
Thanks.
Finish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lopez, you mentioned yesterday that while you were at Shaw University, you received some assistance from the VA, some type of VA loan, correct?
Yes.
Did you also have to take out standard loans as well?
Yes.
Tell us about what other income sources you had to get for your student loans.
Well, I just had to apply for different loans.
And did you apply for those in your name, or how did you go about doing that?
I would apply, and my mom would also apply.
You did that separate and apart from any loan you received in relation to the VA's assistance.
Right.
And I believe you said you were in school now for social work, correct?
Yes.
Is that also what you were in school for at the time?
Yes.
And you said you did not live in the family home when you were in school. You lived on campus, is that correct?
Right.
And you said you took a brief break from your schooling after this incident happened.
Yes.
Why was that?
I wasn't focused.
Was it a very stressful situation?
Yeah, I was stressed.
You couldn't focus on your classwork?
Right.
incident, you've held several jobs. You told us about a few of them yesterday.
Yes.
Cece's Pizza, I believe, and a Xerox position that you held. I believe it is sales center.
Yeah, call center.
Have you held any other employment since 2013?
No.
Have you personally struggled to support yourself in the last few years? Excuse me.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that this incident kind of completely uprooted the family?
Yes.
In fact, at the time, I believe you said your grandfather, who you called Papa, right, was living in the home.
Yeah.
As a result of that, he had to go live with your your uncle, correct?
Right.
Were you close to your Papa?
Yes.
Tell us about him a little bit.
State?
Your grandfather lived in the home with you for some time, correct?
Yes.
And you said you were close to him.
Yes.
Since this incident, he's passed away, correct?
Right.
And since this incident, Isabel, your younger sister, has went to live with her father, Chuck Pritchard, correct?
Yes.
And you and your sister Michelle have lived in various places since this incident happened.
Yes.
You've had various different roommates during this period.
Right.
You lose the family home to foreclosure.
Yes.
You keep any of the pets that you had?
No.
So those animals had to be adopted out?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that these last 2.5 years have been significantly difficult on you and your family,
Yes. Yes.
both physically and emotionally?
Yes.
You haven't received any financial gain from Jose's passing, have you?
No.
Has anyone in your family received any
Objection.
financial gain?
You can testify if she knows.
No.
Was there any benefit coming out of Jose's passing?
No.
In fact, at the time of his death, all the money that was coming into the home from Jose's
Objection.
disability.
You may finish your question.
You weren't getting any financial income from Jose, correct?
I'm sorry.
You weren't getting any, since Jose's passing, you have not received any financial benefit or money from Jose, correct?
I still receive money for while in school.
Right, but in terms of any Social Security or
Oh, no.
disability money he was receiving, that stopped at his passing, correct?
Yes.
And Madam DA asked if you've spoke with myself and Mr. Thomas throughout the course of this process over the last 2.5 years, right?
Right.
And you have.
Yes.
But you've also met with the DA's office as well, correct?
Correct.
And you've spoke with law enforcement.
Yes.
So you've spoke to all parties involved, correct?
Right.
I may have a brief moment.
Yes,
Your Honor.
ma'am. Ready,
Yes, Your Honor. On the 15th of June 2013, when your mom came home after she'd gone out with Jose and came back alone, you said that you noticed some vertical cuts on one of her arms. Is that correct?
Yes.
And those were not the kind of cuts that she needed to go to the hospital for or see a doctor for, in your opinion, were they?
No.
You also talked about writing an article for one of your classes in school, and writing in there about a rape or rapes that had happened to your mother. Is that correct?
Yes.
You didn't have any personal knowledge of those things, did you?
Personal knowledge of what?
Well, were you even alive when they happened? They were before you were born, weren't they?
Yeah.
So the only way you know anything about them is from whatever your mother told you.
Right.
So the paper that you wrote in school was based entirely on your mother's story.
Not entirely. Partly.
Everything that had to do with her and those rapes or anything else about her health or her past before you were born was based on what she told you.
Right.
And you believed her
Right.
because she's your mom,
Right.
and you want to believe your mom.
Exactly.
Now, do you know how much money that you borrowed in order to go to school at Shaw in addition to what you were getting from Jose's VA benefits?
No.
So did you not do the applications? Did your mom do all of them?
I mean, it would depend. If I was approved or denied, then she would have to do one. And that would allow me to receive more money.
So you don't have any idea how much you borrowed?
No.
And you don't have any idea how much your mom borrowed?
No.
And have you started paying any of it back?
No.
You don't have any idea, do you, how much money from the VA or for Social Security was going into your mother's bank accounts it was on behalf of Jose, correct?
No, I don't know.
So you don't really know whether there was any money coming into the household from Jose because of his his veteran status for you, for Michelle, for Isabel, and for your mother.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You don't have any idea whether any money or how much money was going into your mother's bank account on behalf, because you were part of a veteran's household, that is Jose's household.
Right.
You have no idea what that was.
I don't know the amount.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Anything further along those lines?
Just very briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Lopez, in regard to the questioning that Madam DA was just asking you about having direct knowledge about your mother's rapes, you had known for some time, at least, that she had told you that. It was nothing new that she had told you that, correct?
Objection as to what the woman told her.
She opened the door, Your Honor.
Temporal questions, fine, go on.
You had known for some time that she had told you that those incidents had happened to her, correct?
Yes.
It was nothing new or recent she had told you.
No.
And in regard to the money coming into the house, you said you didn't know the amount, correct?
No.
But you knew there was money coming into the house from Jose.
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything further, state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections to her being released from her subpoena?
No, Your Honor.
Any
No,
objection?
no, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You may stand by.
Thank you.
For the evidence, state.
Your Honor, the state would call Cameron Lilliquist.
Yes, ma'am.
Witness for the state.
Would you state your full name for the court, please?
Cameron Lilliquist.
And how are you employed?
I'm a sergeant with the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with the sheriff's office?
Since March 18th, 1999, 16 years.
And what duties have you had over the course of the 16 years that you've been there?
I've been a deputy sheriff assigned to the patrol division. I've been an investigator, and I've been a supervisor, which I currently am.
And how long have you been a supervisor?
About 3.5 years.
And as a supervisor, what do you do?
Currently, I'm assigned to the patrol division.
So what does that mean you do on a day-to-day basis?
I supervise deputies assigned to the zones within the county for general patrol duties.
And in supervising deputies who are assigned all over the county, what does that entail?
General 911 calls, calls for service, any kind of reports, incidents that they would respond to.
So do you actually respond to those calls with them, or are you just sending people out to different?
No, ma'am, I actually respond to calls as well.
Now, did you have to have any kind of education or training in order to become a sheriff's deputy?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that?
I attended basic law enforcement training in 1998 through Wake Tech Community College.
And after you completed the basic law enforcement training, did you have to do anything else?
Yes, ma'am. I've attended numerous hours of training throughout my career.
And when you go through basic law enforcement training and then the additional training that you do over the years, what kinds of things are you taught as a sheriff's deputy?
Just techniques in arrest, search, and seizure, criminal law, just general response to calls, death investigation, all kinds of different schools and classes.
At some point on June 16th of 2013, did you become involved in an investigation concerning the death of Jose Perez?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you become involved in that investigation?
On that particular day, I was assigned to, I supervised the person crimes unit within the criminal investigations division.
When you're talking about person crimes, what do you mean?
It's a unit within the criminal investigation division that is responsible for investigating crimes against person, including violent assaults, rapes, robberies, and homicide.
And what was the nature of the call that you got on the 16th of June, and when did you get the call?
I received a call from Sergeant Battle, who was the on-call supervisor on that particular morning, at approximately 6:17 in the morning, regarding a deceased male that was located in northern Wake County.
And were you given any detail about the deceased person, where they were located?
Yes, ma'am. I was told that the male was located in a ditch just off the road on Old Bay Leaf Road.
And did you go to the scene there?
I did.
And about what time did you get there?
Approximately 7:54 in the morning, I arrived on the scene.
And when you got to the scene, where, more specifically than just on Old Bay Leaf Road, where was it?
It's a dead-end road just off of Durham Road. It was roughly, I'd say, about 100 yards from the dead end of the road.
And how far off, was it a paved road there?
Yes, ma'am.
And how far off the road was the body when you got there?
I'd say 4 to 5 feet.
And were there already other deputies there when you got there?
Yes, ma'am.
Had the crime scene tape already been put up?
I think it was.
And when you got there, had CCBI already gotten there?
I don't believe they were there when I first arrived, but they arrived a short time later.
And when you got there, were there any EMS people there?
Not that I recall.
Emergency medical people?
No, ma'am, not that I recall.
When you got there, did you talk to anybody who was at the scene to find out how it unfolded that this body was found on the side of the road?
Yes, ma'am. I first spoke with my supervisor, Lieutenant Eichert, who was already on the scene. He just briefed me that an individual was out walking that particular morning and located a male laying face down in a ditch just off the road.
And once you got there, what did you do?
Backing up, but prior to I made contact with Investigator Weaver prior to leaving my residence and activated her for being the case officer on the case. When I first arrived, I believe Investigator Weaver arrived right then, maybe a short time later, and I met with her and other investigators who were already on the scene.
Now, any of the officers was it all sheriff's deputies that were at the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Did any of the sheriff's people touch or move the body in any way?
No, ma'am.
And why don't you do that?
Preserving the scene for CCBI to respond.
And did you go within the area that was designated with the crime scene tape?
I did go inside the area, yes, ma'am.
And when you go inside the crime scene area that's been marked off by tape, are you recorded as having been in that scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that done with everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
And there was somebody there that morning doing that?
Yes, ma'am, there was.
Do you know who that was?
I don't.
What was the reason that you went inside of the tape?
Just so I could get a visual of the body, and for my records, and to be able to see in my eyes to see what the scene looked like.
And tell us what you observed about the body on the side of the road.
I observed a white male laying face down in the ditch, approximately 4 to 5 feet from the road. If I recall, he was wearing khaki shorts and a white shirt that appeared to be pulled up just over his head.
Were you able, when you walked in and got close to him, to observe any injuries on his body?
I did. It appeared that he had stab marks or trauma to his back.
And you said that he had on a white shirt. The back of it was white, is that correct?
That's what I recall, yes, ma'am.
Could you tell if there was, did you see any blood anywhere?
I did see blood on him.
Where did you see blood?
If I recall, it was on his back.
Now, did you do anything once you saw that there was a body on the side of the road and he apparently had some stab wounds in his back and blood on him? Did you do anything further at that point?
No, ma'am.
And did you, were you able at that time to identify who the body was on the road?
We were not.
And why were you not able to do that?
Once CCBI arrived on scene, we do not, as investigators, we do not go through the pockets. That is something that CCBI does. Once CCBI did arrive and tried to locate an ID, there was no ID located on the subject.
They didn't locate anything at all in his pockets, did they?
No, ma'am.
Now, at some point, you became aware that the body on the side of the road was that of Jose Perez, is that correct?
That's correct.
And when you discovered his identity, did you do something else?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do?
Once we identified him as Mr. Perez, we made contact with members of the Raleigh Police Department. We were able to locate his address, an address off in the Wakefield area. We requested Raleigh Police detectives meet us at Wakefield High School, and with the plan of going to the residence to make notification of death to next of kin.
The area where Mr. Perez's body was off the side of the road, was that in the city of Raleigh?
No, ma'am. That was in the county.
And why is it then that you contacted a Raleigh police officer to meet with you at the school?
Just because the residence where we found out that he resided is in city limits of Raleigh.
And that was 12412 Schoolhouse Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what was the purpose of meeting with the Raleigh detectives away from the residence before you were to go to the residence?
Well, at that particular time, we did not know where the victim was, the offense occurred, so we wanted to have personnel from Raleigh Police Department present in the event that it possibly occurred at the residence.
And so at the point when you met with Raleigh officers, did you explain to them what you had seen and knew from the scene on Old Bay Leaf Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go at some point after meeting with Raleigh officers to the Schoolhouse Street address?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And tell me what you saw when you got there.
Well, prior to my arrival, I was contacted by Investigator Weaver, who was already on scene with Raleigh detectives. She advised me that she had made contact with several family members there, including Joanna Madonna and several of her children. I responded and met with Investigator Weaver, and I initially spoke with Rachel Lopez, one of Miss Madonna's daughters.
And when you spoke to Miss Lopez on the scene, did you want to talk to her a little bit further in a more controlled environment, not just standing outside?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And did you ask her if she'd be willing to come down and talk with you at the sheriff's office?
Yes, I did.
And was she willing to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall what she told you at the scene?
I don't recall exactly. We didn't go into great detail. It was, I just explained that I'd feel more comfortable talking to her in a setting where it was quiet. A lot had gone on, and I just asked her, and she was very forthcoming and agreed to voluntarily come with me down to the Public Safety Center for an interview.
And so how did you and Rachel Lopez get to the sheriff's office?
I drove her.
And was she okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it your intention that after you spoke to her, you would have her driven to wherever she wanted to go afterwards.
Yes, ma'am.
She wasn't going to be able to go back to the house, was she?
That's correct.
And that's because other officers were there doing things in the house, is that correct?
That's correct.
So about what time did you get to the Schoolhouse Street home?
I arrived at approximately 9:09 hours.
And this is in the evening, is that correct?
That's correct.
On Sunday night.
That's correct.
And what time did you and Rachel Lopez go down to the sheriff's office?
I believe we arrived at approximately 10 o'clock p.m. down at the sheriff's office.
About how long does it take to drive from the Schoolhouse Street address to the Wake County Sheriff's Office?
I'd say about 30 minutes.
Now, when you talked to her, she wasn't under arrest.
No, ma'am.
She was there voluntarily.
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you talk to her?
We used an interview room on the second floor of the Public Safety Center.
Well, what does the interview room look like?
It's got 4 walls, a door, a table, and 2 chairs.
Relatively small room.
Yes, ma'am.
Was she locked in there in any way?
No, ma'am.
She wasn't handcuffed in any way?
No, ma'am.
She wasn't threatened in any way by you or any other deputies there?
No, she wasn't.
And when you talk to somebody in the interview room, is it generally your practice to record the conversation?
Yes, it is.
What was your purpose in talking to Rachel Lopez that night?
I just wanted to know if she had any information regarding Jose's death.
And so did you talk to her about some background about her and her family?
Yes, I did.
What kinds of things did she tell you?
She told me that she was Jose's stepdaughter. Joanna was her mother, and she had 2 sisters, and they lived at the residence on Schoolhouse. Also, her grandfather lives at the residence as well with them.
And did you ask her, after getting some of the background, about what specifically she knew about the day of June 15th, 2013, and the following day, that is, that Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, ma'am. I asked her to recall the events as she remembered them leading up from the previous day into the present.
And did she do that?
She did.
And during the course of your talking with her and her relating those things to you, did you ask her a few qualifying questions?
Yes, ma'am.
After you spoke with her, did you give her some paper and a pen and ask her to write out essentially also what she had just told you or what she remembered?
Yes.
And did she do that?
She did.
After the recording was made of your interview with her, did you watch that?
Yes, I did.
It wasn't just audio, it was audio and video, is that correct?
That's correct.
And was the machine that recorded working properly on the day that the recording was made?
Yes, it was.
And you've viewed that tape or that disc since then, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was not altered or edited in any way, was it?
No, it was not.
And did it accurately reflect what was said to you by Ms. Lopez on the 16th of June, 2013?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, Rich.
Yes, ma'am.
Sergeant Lilliquist, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 49. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And how do you recognize it?
That is a copy of the disc of my interview with Rachel.
How do you know that from looking at the disc?
I viewed it last night.
And does it have any markings on it?
It does.
And what are the markings on it?
It's yesterday's date, the time, and my initials.
All right, this time the state would offer into evidence State's Exhibit number 49.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Motion allowed. Got any idea of what the length of that is?
About an hour.
Everybody comfortable sitting for an hour? Okay, you may proceed. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm okay, for now. They're like getting us stuff ready to ask the questions, but, I'm okay for now. Okay. No, they brought me down. Oh, no, they're gonna bring me back on too. Okay, thank you, Ms. Tiffany. Thank you. Sorry. No, thank you. Hey, Mom, shut the door. No problem. It's hard to get more water. It does return for some crazy reason. All right. Can I ask a question? Absolutely. Was Jose murdered? And we'll talk about that as well. Just want to start by just introducing myself. My name is Sergeant Lewis. I'm a sergeant with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. I'm supervisor working tonight. Okay, one quick second. Can you give me your full name? Rachel. R-A-C-H-E-L. Yeah, middle name? Ann. Ann, A-N-N? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lopez, L-O-P-E-Z. And what's your date of birth? 9/29/92. Give me your address. 12412 Schoolhouse Street. Robbie. 27614. Can you give me a contact number for you? 919-745-0217. And by chance, have your driver's license number? Yes. 352-320-66. North Carolina. Yes. Again, my name is Sergeant Williams. I'm a supervisor of the Sheriff's Office. We are investigating the death of Jose. At this point, I will tell you that Jose was Based on our procedures, we just want to know it lasts 24 hours prior to his death. Nobody's going to figure anybody, but we are looking for answers to justify his life and want to see if you can help us out with that. Tell me a little bit about yourself as far as how you related to him. I'm his stepfather. And so you are Joanna's biological daughter. So Joanna's your mom. When was Jose and your mother married? They were married December 2009. Can you describe their marriage? Their marriage was, to me, it was always weird for me because he was older than her by like 20 years. So it was always weird to me at the beginning. But I guess their marriage, their like relationship with each other, they were happy from what I could see. I saw the other guys have that for the past, I guess since the beginning of the year, they've argued more about money. And this year is when I noticed just them arguing and not happy like they used to be. What does that do for a living? He's retired, but he volunteered at the VA hospital. Volunteered as what? I think it's like a receptionist. He did that like once a week. He's volunteering, so what did he retire from doing? He was in Vietnam, so he was disabled. He was a retired veteran, but he was disabled, so I don't think he ever worked. Well, I'm sure he worked after the war, but from the time that we met him, he wasn't working anymore. So what would he do during the day? He would just do like yard work around the house. He would go to meetings, like AA meetings. So he was an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic? Yes. He was sober for around 4 years. But my mom said that he started drinking again. Did you ever see him drink? No. When did she say he started drinking again? When did she say? Like, when did she say that? Or, yeah. When do you know that when do you believe that he started drinking again, just based on what she told you? She told me it was after his son passed away. I want to say it was in, like, April. March or April. How old was his son? His son was 40. He lived local? He was at a hospice. He had a lot of, Did you know that Jose was going to AA? Mm-hmm. How often would he go to AA? He would go, like, 4 times out of the week. Where would he go for that? I know there was, like, they only say it by, like, the street name, so like there's a place on Glenwood Avenue and a place on Three Forest Road that I heard him talk about. My mom goes to meetings too. She recovering alcoholic? Mm-hmm. That's how they met at a meeting. Okay. When, do you know what night he would go to AA? I can't really tell exactly. I think Saturday was the day that he used to go. But I mean, I really don't know. Was it a set schedule or was it just certain different nights? I think they were set schedules, but I don't really know what days exactly. Alright. So tell me about your living situation. Just say, who all lives in the house? Okay, it's me. And you guys close, because I know it's you. Alright, so lives the residence. Okay. It's me. So Rachel. Michelle is my 19-year-old sister. Is she your real sister? My half sister, yes. So me and my mom were, we're related through my mom. I guess if you say that. We had different dads. There you go. Okay, so Joanna is her mother, and she has another father. Yes. Okay. Okay. And then Isabel, my other half sister. Isabelle. And what's Rachel's last name? My last name is Lopez. I'm sorry. What's Michelle's last name? Lopez. Lopez. I have her father's last name. Okay, I got you. Isabel, what's her last name? Lopez as well? Her last name is Pritchard. P-R-I-C-C-H-A-R-D. How old is she? She's 8. 8 years old. And she is, tell me about her. Is she, as far as how she, so your mother is her mother, biological mother, what about her father? Her father is Chuck. Okay. Alright, I got you on that. Okay. Alright, so Rachel, Michelle, Isabel. Right. And then it's possible John is my grandfather. Okay, what's John's last name? M-A-D-O-N-N-A. Okay, and how old is he? He is 86. 86. Yeah. And he is your mother's father? Yes. That's it? Is that right? And my mom. And your mom. And your mother's last name is Lopez, correct? No, her last name is Madonna. Madonna. M-A-D-O-N-N-A. Alright. Okay, so y'all live there at the house. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the vehicles that everybody has. How many vehicles are at the residence? Is that confusing? Is this? A little bit. Okay. Well, there's 4. You want me to go back? Yeah, let's start off with, okay, yeah, you tell us. Okay, Rachel is a Saturn D. So you have a Saturn D. Mm-hmm. What colors? It's greenish. Green. Okay, and is it registered to you? Yes. Hey, can you call Captain Tanner home for an interview? Okay, alright. Alright, Saturn D, green. Mm-hmm. And he says registered to you? Yes. To you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Registered Rachel. Alright. There's a red, a red Dodge Neon. That's Michelle's car. Is it registered? Michelle. Is it registered? Okay. There is a Mercedes with, I don't know what kind it is, but it's white. Okay. And that is registered to my mom. Is it also to Jose? I think it's registered to my mom, but I 2020? And is that registered to veterans? So there's the vehicles left. Anything else? Any other vehicles? Alright. Let's go forward to, let's jump back to yesterday. Tell me about yesterday, about just, once you come in from the time you got up. Okay. And I just go just as detailed as you can. Okay. And I'll probably stop you and get you to slow down because I'm not fast runner. Okay. Tell me about yesterday. So yesterday,
How
long did you get up?
I woke up about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And I was supposed to meet a few ladies from my church, well, a few people from my church, but Friday night ended here, so I had to go to the place where I took the deer, and then to the insurance company in Nightdale. So that was in the morning, and then I came back home, which was around 11:30.
I came in about 11:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. But before I left, I asked Jose like what to do because he handled all the car stuff. So I asked him like what am I supposed to do, and so he told me to call the jurisdiction, I guess, of the place where I hit my car. I mean, the Deer River, and so he told me to just call them and then go to the insurance company or whatever. So I talked to him before I left. And when I came home, he was, no, he wasn't there.
Now, what time did you talk to Jose?
Probably like 7:15.
Okay. So after you got home,
After I got home, I went inside and
he was not there when you got home?
no, he wasn't there when I got home. But I just, I got something to eat. And then I went, I told my rate. So I went to a pawn shop and wait for it.
After you got home?
Yes. So I left my house around 12.
About then?
Mm-hmm.
Wait for? You remember what pawn shop you went to?
It was called kind of things like Pawn Elite.
Do you remember?
Oh, I have the card. I don't know what it is. I don't have it. It's, I don't know what it's called, the Durham Road, and it's the Bojangles, and the Wakefield Experience Center, it's right in that shopping center. I think it's called Pawn Premier. Next to the Korean barbecue place.
That was about what time?
That was 1:30. No, that was like 12:15. I was there right after.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to Tropical Smoothie Cafe on Freeport Road.
About what time?
I got there probably like 1 o'clock. There, I went to Crabtree. So I did Crabtree at like 1:20.
How did you leave?
I left at like 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, from there I went to North Hills. And
About what time? About
I got there, it was like
Okay.
And then by the time I left, it was like 2:30. And I was on the leave. I went to Garner. In Garner, I met it's like a discipleship group. It's like a Bible study. And I was there I got there like 2:45 to...
You know where it was in March?
It's on,
The church.
no, it was at a coffee shop. It's called Fifth Avenue Coffee Shop in the Floresville Shopping Center.
Yeah, it is. That's all we know.
I got there like 2:45, and I left at...
You said like 2:45?
Mm-hmm. And I left at 5.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to the sheep on New Bern Avenue. And I got there probably 5:30.
Okay.
And then,
Just get the gas.
and then I left there and went home. And got home around 6. When I got home, Jose was there.
6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you got home. Jose was at home.
Yeah.
Do you remember where he was?
He was in his room. And he came out when he heard the dogs barking when I got home. He came out and he went to check on the laundry, and then he went back to his room.
Did you talk to him?
No, it was hi. Right.
Okay. Alright, so now what else was it?
And
What else was there?
when I got home, it was just my grandfather who stayed home most of the time, well, all the time, and it was Jose. And so when I got home, I just went upstairs to my room, and I was just laying down on my bed. We had got homework from my discipleship group, so I was just looking over that and reading the Bible, and just reading over the I had talked to my mom when I was on my way home from Sheep, because she was in South Carolina yesterday, so I asked her what time, how long it was going to be, so she got home, she said like an hour and a half, so, but she didn't get home until like 7-ish, so.
She was still in South Carolina when you talked to her?
She was, yeah, she was probably like, just getting to North
Was she in South Carolina?
She went to visit, my cousin is sick, so she went to visit him, he has like cancer, so she's...
So, you were upstairs, and you said you got home about 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they came outside.
Yeah.
Alright, came out just basically comment on, hey, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You went upstairs. Well, from there, what do you remember?
I was in my room for about, it was like 9 o'clock, I don't know, I didn't check my phone. Because I heard my mom come home at that point. I heard her come home around, probably like, I want to say between 7 and 8, I heard her come home. And I guess, well, earlier in the day, kind of when I first woke up, my mom called me on her way to South Carolina, and she said that she was going to ask if they to leave when she got home. So she had
So, were you still home when she called?
yeah, I was still home.
And you said, what about what time you think that was?
Probably like 7:30.
So before you left?
Yeah, before I left. she said she was going to talk to him when she got home last night. And when she told me that, I didn't really respond.
From South Carolina?
Yeah.
And what did she say about it? Did she have anything else other than?
No, she just, well, what she told me was, she asked me if I was staying out later because she didn't want me around when they were fighting, I guess. But, so, she said she was going to ask him to move out, and I didn't respond. I was just like, okay, Mom, and I just prayed about it. And so, that's kind of,
So she kind of wanted you to stay out, is that what she was telling you?
yeah.
What did you tell her?
Hmm?
What did you tell her?
I just said I'm staying on, and
That was it?
yeah, I didn't respond to it.
Okay. Alright, so jump forward, so you heard Mom get home about 7 p.m.
Yeah, and so at that point, I was still in my room. Like, I didn't see her when she came down, so, because I figured that she was just going to go talk to Jose. But it was probably like 10 minutes later that I heard them go out the door in the kitchen that leads to the garage, and I heard the garage door open, and a car, so I don't know which car it was, started up, and I'm assuming that they left together.
And you said that the kitchen door going to the garage. And you said they went out together?
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys went out together? Did you
Well-
ever talk to him before and you hear him continue to talk to her when they went out there, or are you just assuming they went out together?
Yeah, I just
Could you hear him down there talking prior to that?
No, okay, so I was just assuming.
So, didn't see them go out together, but because no one person left in the house was your grandfather, is that what you know? Is that fair enough to say?
It's just, yeah, okay.
We were saying about 7:10, 7:15, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to say in between that time. Because I was still in my room. I didn't come out of my room until close to 9.
Okay. You heard a car start up?
Mm-hmm. I heard the garage door open and I heard a car start up. And driveway.
Okay.
And then,
Do you know what vehicle it was?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What vehicles usually kept in the garage?
The Jeep and the Mercedes. And my mom took the Jeep to South Carolina.
Did you ever at any point go and see which vehicle was missing from the garage?
No. Well, not until my mom
Okay.
came back.
Okay.
And then so
So you heard the vehicle, you heard a vehicle leave? Okay, tell me what happened.
okay, so and I was just still in my room. I didn't come out of my room until around 9 to get something to eat. And that's when my mom would come home.
Did you hear her come back?
No, I was in the kitchen when she came in through the garage door.
They said 9 p.m.?
Mm-hmm.
9 p.m.
Yeah. And she, when she came in, okay, I forgot what
Okay. I'm just trying to recognize. You on that. Alright, so she came into the garage door alone?
Yes, she was alone.
Alright, so what happened? What did she say?
She was like really sweaty and she was on the phone.
Okay.
And I saw on her left arm that she had like scratch, like, well not scratches, but cuts going like this down her arm.
On her left arm?
Yes. And it was bleeding.
Okay.
And after what happened, and she was still on the phone at this point.
And what she said?
And she was like, shushing me, that she's on the phone.
Shush, gotcha.
And then I asked her again, Mom, what happened?
Do you know she was helping on the phone?
I didn't know.
Okay. What she said?
She said,
Did she get off the phone then?
no, she was still on the phone. She said, Jose got upset with me and he took out his knife and cut my arm.
Damn, the interview you can call that. The guy with the knife and what?
And cut me.
What did you say? Oh, okay, what happened?
I was like, what? Mom, what? And that whole time that she was telling me that she was on the phone. So she was kind of like in between her conversation with me and the phone conversation. And I was like, Mom, what are you talking about? And I asked, well, I kind of yelled at her that he cut me. And she told me this because of my grandfather. And so at that point, I went back upstairs and I called a few ladies from my church just to tell them what was going on.
Hey, your Bible group, is that kind of equivalent to your French from your Bible study group?
Mm-hmm.
You told them what happened?
Yeah. And that's like
Who did you call?
I called Miss Esther. I called her first.
You know what her else is?
Jane.
Jane?
Jane, Gaines.
Yeah, I've heard her before.
Yeah.
No.
413-3720.
Okay.
I called her and she, I told her what happened and she prayed with me and she called, Miss Tiffany.
You're talking three-way?
Mm-hmm. Tiffany.
Esther called. Okay, what's your number?
99455-8773.
Okay.
And I had gotten on the phone with him.
What did y'all do when you talked to them? Principal?
Oh yeah, they both just prayed with me and just, yeah.
Alright, so how long do you think you're on the phone with them? Years, estimation. About what time do you think this is this morning?
Oh, this was like 9:15,
About 9:15.
9:15 and 9:30.
It's a significant amount of time out. Okay, so mom came in about 9, so you went up there, and it's a short conversation. You went upstairs and you called them just for some guidance, spiritual guidance, correct? Okay, so you got off that with them, what'd you do?
From there, I cried a lot, and I was praying, and I called my discipleship group, my teacher, to say Desmond.
What's her name?
Debbie.
Debbie Medlin, Medlin.
Yes.
What's her number?
381-8302.
Gotcha.
And I explained to her what was going on. And after I got off the phone with her, I went downstairs to talk to my mom. And
What time did you get on top of the line? Were you?
it was probably like 10:30 at that point. And
Where was she?
she was downstairs. She was in her room.
Did she change? Did she shower or anything?
No, she hadn't done anything yet.
You said house line. She was in her room. What was she dressed in? Did she change by then?
She was still wearing the clothes that she was wearing when she came in at night.
Do you remember what that was?
It was like a cami, like this, big cami, just like this.
Just like that shirt. Do you remember color?
I want to say brown.
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 Was she wearing, is it a brown, is it like a bra kind of?
Like a tank top.
Tank top.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. My wife wears them. I'm just trying to get,
Yeah.
you don't know how to describe it.
And she was wearing blue shorts, like pajama shorts kind of. Or like shorts.
Okay. You remember what kind of shoes she wore?
I don't think she was wearing shoes.
No, is she wearing shoes when she came in?
Yeah.
You remember?
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops. Alright, so just wearing the same clothes. Okay, tell me about your conversation.
I asked her mom what happened. And she said that she confronted Jose about him drinking.
Okay.
And I asked how did she know he was drinking again? And she said that like she could smell it on him, and that she could just tell that he wasn't sober anymore.
Smell alcohol on them.
And she said she found 2 alcohol bottles. I didn't ask like what kind of everything, or what she found, but she said she found 2 of them on 2 separate occasions.
Okay. So she confronted him for that.
And I said, asked her why did he start drinking again? And she said she admitted it was because of his son's death a few months ago. And she, I asked her, like, fought and he was mad. And I told her, like, Mom, we need to call the police. And she said she didn't want to call the police.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. You're doing fine. I just wish I could write faster. What did your mom say when you said about calling the police?
She said, no, she didn't want to, and
She gave a reason.
no, she was just like, we're okay. I guess she was just saying, we're okay. But she said that I asked her where's Jose. She said that she dropped him off at his boxer's house, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you're mad.
Fred.
Right.
I don't think I met him. I can't put a face to his name, but I know.
You never lived. Okay, what she said?
And she said that Fred was bringing Jose to the airport this morning to go to a rehab in Florida.
So you're going to go home Sunday morning?
At that point, this is when I was still talking to my mom. She was just saying, she didn't want Jose to be she didn't want to be married to Jose anymore because he had started drinking again. And she said that he lied all the time and was inconsistent with paying bills. So she said she just doesn't anymore.
Did your parents have a lot of money, did you know, not that you know, did it handle that, did you know anything about their finances at all?
No, not really.
Okay. Did she ever say anything about him having any kind of extramarital affairs? Did you ever hear him argue about it?
She did say,
Did she say more about that last time?
yeah, she said that, that was in a part of the lying that, she said he lied about the drinking, the women, the money, I guess, something like that, but she did,
Do you know anything, did she ever go into details about any kind of extramarital stuff with him?
no,
All she said is the women.
yeah. And a few months ago, she said, I remember a conversation or something about she thought that Jose was cheating on her. I think it was either last year or earlier this year, but it was never brought up again, I guess. Well, to my knowledge.
What was her demeanor when, I mean, was she angry about it? Was she got hurt, or was she just casual conversation about it?
It was just kind of
So she's telling you why she wanted to leave, and why she didn't want to. What she said after that?
When she said, she just kept saying, like, I just don't want him around us like that, like with his drinking. Because my mom was sober for 21 years, so she doesn't want us around that or even drinks around that. So she, and then she was just like, okay, like tell me, like, we'll be okay. And she gave me a hug and she said, I'm going to go and take a shower tonight. I'm like, that's so serious.
She told you she was going to take a shower. She's going to go to bed after that. And about what time was that?
That's probably around like 10:45.
Huh? Did you go to bed right away?
Did she?
Did you?
No, I was up for a little.
Did you hear anything else from your mom about anything more contact with?
No.
So you didn't hear anything, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And you went to bed about what time?
It was like 1 o'clock.
Alright. So jump ahead to that. You went to bed about 1.
And today, I woke up around 8.
8 a.m.? Okay. What do you remember about this one?
This morning, I got up. I didn't go downstairs. Like, I got up, I took a shower, got dressed, went downstairs. It was like 8:40 by the time I got downstairs. And my grandfather was, I guess he was making cereal or something. He was making breakfast for himself. And my mom was on her way out. Like, I asked her, where are you going? She said she's going to Mass this morning. And
She was going. Did she go to Mass usually on Sunday?
it's not regular that she goes.
Is that was it abnormal that you're like, wow?
Well, I mean, in my mind, I was like, she's going because of what happened last night with Jose.
So she doesn't get arrested really?
No. She'll go like on Easter, Christmas. But
Now it's about what time? 8:45?
yeah.
Alright, jump ahead. So when did you see her again?
Not till I came home, just now. Like,
You left about what time?
I left at 9.
Where did you go?
I went to my church and we went to Jordan Lake. And like another church was doing like a baptism and like fellowship out there. So we were there until about 1:30. So I got to my church and then we got to Jordan Lake around 11 and left at about 1:30. And then from there I went back to our church and we had worship practice. And we have our church service like at 4 o'clock. So we had our service from 4 to about like 6:30 tonight. And we have like our meeting afterwards and we help clean up and like set up the day here for tomorrow. And on my way home, I called me, and she was like, where are you? Where I'm coming up. She said,
What time was that on the way home? About what time?
like 8 or 9. It was like, no, it was like 8:30.
And that was Michelle?
I had texted her friend Taylor, who was at the house. She was supposed to be my hair tonight, and
So that's your sister's friend?
Mhm. And Michelle called me from Taylor's phone. And she was like, I have to talk to you. And her voice was like, shaky. And she said that earlier, I don't know what time earlier, but she said that she was home and there were 5 detectives at the house, and they were asking questions like about like us, like as our family, whatever, and asking like when my mom was in home, and my mom was at a meeting.
What were they asking about?
Yeah, they were asking, I guess they were asking like what, like about Jose and me, and she said they were asking like what do we do, like are we in school and stuff like that. And so she said
Did you know that Mom was going tonight to
no, not it, no.
Is that just based on what Michelle told me?
Yeah.
Or told you?
Yeah, that's it. That she called Mom, and Mom said that she was at a meeting, and she talked to the detective on the phone. And she said they were asking questions just about like what they like where he was, whatever. And then she said that Mom had gotten home, and that my sister kept asking like what's going on, and because she didn't last night, my sister wasn't home, so she didn't know about Mom or they like what happened. So she I guess the detective told her, I guess, or my mom, I don't know, but she was saying that they were there because of Jose, and she said they said your stepfather passed away, and she said that was kind of, they were
Did you
there.
name him?
Yeah, at that point I was still on New Hope, so I was like 20 minutes away at that point. So,
What time did you get him?
I got home probably like 9, maybe a little after 9.
Rich, what do you think happened under the And you obviously are a woman of the Lord, and I respect that a lot. And you know what? The reason I say that is because during this whole conversation with you, I just met you, and I think you're a genuine person. And you are. I know that you. And the whole thing is, I know you're doing what's right, and that's why you come forth and you're talking to us. What do you think happened? And just be completely honest. I mean, for yourself and for your benefit, I mean, and for your mother and for everybody, what do you think happened? You take a second if you need to take a second.
Well, when my sister called me and she told me Jose passed away, I'm thinking he passed, like, it was, because he has always had, from the time we met him, he's always had, like, health issues.
Sure.
So he's had strokes, he had a heart attack last year, like, so I'm thinking, my first thought is the alcohol, he hasn't had alcohol in 40 years, so the alcohol just attacked his liver and he died. That was my first pass away. But when I got home and all the detectives, I'm like, okay, detective 5, you know, and from just, I guess just from the disposition of the detectives out there, I was just like, just so they, like, because I heard my mom say to one of the detectives, well, the detectives came up to my mom and said, do you know what's going on? They said, I heard my mom say, well, all I know is that he found something. So I'm like, then I was like, ow, like, where was he, whatever. And I still thought that he went to Florida. I thought he was in Florida the whole day. And this point,
Transit is hard, and it's extremely hard. But I mean, we've got a man that his life was taken from him. Obviously things happen in this world that we have no control over. And I've been doing this 15 years, and unfortunately I've not had the pleasure of seeing nice things happen. But however, I know that people make mistakes and people do things not necessarily for the wrong reasons. However, the end result is not a good thing. I know that Emma is perfect, and I don't think anybody means Jose was perfect. And I'm sure he has his, but we are dealing with a man that has his life taken from him. And if something happened where we're just wanting to paint the picture, and just for him, for everybody involved in this, because it's not an easy situation for anybody. But, you know, you have lived in the house, you know the relationship. I think, and you've given me story, you've been completely honest with me and everything. Do you think that this is a result of your parents getting in a fight and something that they could have got out of hand, or what are your thoughts?
I think so. Because like from last night, when my mom said like she dropped him off at his aunt's house, in my mind I'm like, okay, he just said he chose him to his aunt's house.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I don't know how far away he lives, like I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Do you have any past knowledge of your parents ever getting in physical altercations? Obviously everybody fights, but did your mom ever describe how they were striking her or anything like that? Did they argue a lot?
I mean, it's never like big, yelling arguments that, it's always just little things like that. Yeah, it's usually just about money. That's all that they kind of break out in the open.
Let me ask you about the night. Does Jose, did he commonly carry a knife with him?
I didn't know.
You don't know?
I'm not surprised because he works outside on the yard and stuff, so I'm not surprised that he wouldn't have like a little pocket knife.
You ever seen him with a pocket knife?
I've seen it in his car before.
Think hard, do you best?
I want to say it's brown with like a black piece in the middle of it, like the design of it is brown with black on it, and then I don't know.
Is it a standard knife, or is it is it like one is like it's a fold-up knife, or something like a large knife that pops out, or is it something that you can open up? You know what I mean?
It's probably about that size and would come out like that. Cause I've seen it and I just always like push it away.
Where did he keep it?
I've seen it in his car before.
In the Jeep?
Yeah, just like in the car. Yeah, in his Jeep.
Yeah, where do you usually keep it in the Jeep?
Just in like the center console.
And come again with describe the best of your ability to
It's like brown on the
brown handle.
yeah, with like a black piece. I don't know if I can see it with a black piece on it in the middle of it.
Do you know what color the blade is?
No, I've never seen the blade.
Is it so it's full? The blade is always in there. And she never saw him in possession. It just stayed in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Did she tell you any more about what kind of knife he was cut with, or all she said was Jose's knife?
No, she just said that when he got upset with her, that he pulled out, I think, she didn't say pocket knife, she said something else like, switchblade, that's what she said. And I just assumed that's what it was called.
his console is not broken. Alright. So, do you think this is an argument that got out of hand?
I guess so. I think it's
Okay. It's a hard position to be in, and I'm not trying to put you in a position. You, being Christian, correct? I think you feel like it's your, I mean, obviously you pray a lot, and it's concerning to you, and you've been very forthcoming to us. I think you've done the right thing, to be honest with you. And as far as the situation is, can I give you a pass and a pen? And I want you to be as detailed as you can. Just paint me a picture of everything. And I want you to start with everything we talk about. Just be as detailed as possible. Start with yesterday. And I know I don't want to be repetitive, but just I want your own words. You know, what you remember of the event that happened. If I leave you a pad, I'm gonna leave you alone. You need anything. Okay. You go back there?
No, I'm good.
Back there. I'm gonna open that door.
okay.
So,
So do you want me to write like what I did and stuff, or
now just go. Why don't you tell me about your interactions with your mother, starting with yesterday?
okay? Yesterday morning or just sometime?
Let's start with the morning, where when you talked to her on the phone and she told you, you say everything, but just that's what I'm interested in your interactions with your mother, and obviously why don't we do this? Why don't you just start yesterday and you go through the whole, you just tell me about your day and what happened with you, what you remember, not what you speculate, but what you remember from yesterday morning all the way through.
Okay.
Cool?
Alright.
And I'll check back in with you. I'm going to leave the door right here.
Okay.
And the bathroom right here. You got your water. You know the water I'll get you to. So take your time.
Alright.
So I'm going to crack it. I'm going to put up this. Okay. I'll check back. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go to conclusion with that. But just, I'm going to, I'll check back with you. Just hang tight and I'll watch it.
Case. She did not talk to the parties, the witnesses, or the lawyers about anything at all. It's further duty not to talk to anyone else, to allow anyone else to talk with you, to say anything in your presence about this case, to do any individual research or investigation on your own about any issue touching on this trial. Stay away from your smartphones, and do not form or express any opinion about this case during this time. With that, while everyone else court remains seated, I'm going to excuse the 13 of you and ask that you return and assemble in the jury room at 12 o'clock. With that, you are excused.